Who was Darth Plagueis Master, and what was his horrifying fate? Darth Plagueis the Wise was predominantly a scientist, believing the Force could be studied, understood, and even controlled through the scientific method. Through his experiments, Plagueis learned how to master the dark side of the Force to such an extent he could even stop those he loved from dying. However, Plagueis was not the first Sith to seek a greater understanding of the Force through science. In fact, Plagueis' own master, in many ways, had pioneered the study of immortality, as well as laying the groundwork for the machinations of the Sith Grand Plan that would one day overthrow the Republic. This video will briefly explore the Bith Sith Lord, Darth Tennabrous, his many insane plans to rid the galaxy of the Jedi, and his ultimate, horrifying fate. Darth Tennabrous was brought into the Sith rule of two around 100 years before the Clone Wars by an unnamed Twi'lek Sith Lord. Tennabrous became a master in lightsaber combat, but was also highly proficient in Force Lightning, and was even able to use the Red Force Lightning ability, suggesting he was quite likely on the skill level or maybe even higher than Palpatine. As well as perfecting the use of the Force and lightsaber combat techniques, he was also an extremely gifted scientist. While only an apprentice, Tennabrous and his master sought to use their knowledge of midichlorians to produce a virus that would strip the Jedi of the Force. While their insane attempt was ultimately unsuccessful, this little experiment would lead Tennabrous down the path of pioneering the scientific study of the Force, a path which would eventually lead to his horrifying end. After killing his master, he sought out a new apprentice. Seeking influence within the intergalactic banking clan, Tennabrous manipulated a banking clan official named Kar Damask into meeting his wife, knowing that their offspring would be strong in the Force. 5 years later, Tennabrous returned, convincing them to hand over their son to him in the promise of a better life. Taking the boy as his apprentice, he named him Darth Plagueis. As well as their scientific studies into the Force, the Sith sought to expand their influence over the galaxy. Posing as a starship designer, Tennabrous infiltrated the elite of society, gaining influence over many of them in an attempt to further the Sith Grand Plan. Tennabrous, like all Sith, was obsessed with immortality and actually found a way to become immortal, although it was not how he would have wanted it. By experimenting with the midichlorians within his blood, the Sith Lord was able to instill his consciousness within them, naming them machichlorians. He also altered them so that they would never die, even after his death. When Darth Plagueis killed his master by collapsing a cave on top of him, through the machichlorians, Tennabrous survived. Tennabrous' machichlorians secretly possessed the body of Darth Plagueis, in the hopes that one day he could possess the Chosen One, giving him access to more midichlorians than ever before, and unlimited power. However, after gaining Plagueis' power foresight, he realised his apprentice would at some point be killed by his own apprentice, Darth Sidious, thwarting his plans to possess the Chosen One. Panicking, the consciousness of Tennabrous left Plagueis, only to find the mummified remains of his own body decades or even centuries later. In a horrifying twist of fate, the Sith Lord had achieved immortality, but not how he wanted it. The Sith Lord was forced to live out his own death and the centuries of slow decay of his body for all of eternity on a loop. Upon this realization, the Dark Lord wished he still had a mouth with which he could scream.